I'm Jade McNeil and welcome to the Beespace Podcast, your bi-weekly dose of business and property realness. No hype, no fluff, and definitely no BS. Just honest conversations about what it really takes to build something from nothing. Well, hello, welcome to the Beespace Podcast. I am super excited because today on the pod I've got somebody that I know really, really well with me, Natasha from NVUK. Hello, my love, and welcome.
Hi.
So, Natasha, tell us quickly, who you are, what you're doing, where you're from.
So I'm Natasha Ware. I'm from North Wales. I live here with my husband and my 2-year-old son, and I am a property developer. Everything else.
So wearing lots of hats. So at the moment, your main focus is property development, but I know you've got your own businesses, which we're going to go into a little bit more, which are not necessarily property related. But take us back, to kind of who was Natasha, let's say 20 years ago? What were you doing? What kind of things were you involved in?
Okay. It's quite colourful.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, there's been quite a few different things I've turned my hand to. So let's take us back then. After I graduated university with a criminology and criminal justice degree, I ended up in the financial industry. It was, height of the recession, or just the start of the recession, shall we say. So I ended up in a completely different industry. Was there for about 5-6 years, working my way up to chartered status, and decided from an early age, actually, from about 22, I remember starting in that career thinking, is this it for the rest of my life? Working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 until I retire. So lo and behold, a few years later, I came across a network marketing business opportunity. Never heard of it, never done anything like this before. Anyway, I got started and was actually able to walk away from a full-time career 18 months in after earning double in my business over working full-time as a almost chartered financial planner. It didn't just stop there. Since then, I've dabbled in, I've taught English over in other countries. I have started up a dog accessory business. We've hired our camper vans out. We've made journals as a little business. There's been lots of different things that we have done along the way. So like I say, very colourful. And in the meantime, property has obviously been in the mix as well. Our latest business, well, it's not latest really. It was an accidental business that started in 2019, actually, with a product that my husband, Vinny, purchased. And that ended up becoming quite a successful business. It was a product that he needed, that he thought actually other people need. And from there, mixed with my reading and let's do this and my vision, shall we say, it grew and doubled in to the point where he was able to quit his career as well in the height of COVID times in 2020. That's where I've just celebrated my 10-year anniversary of being since leaving my career. So I'm unemployable now, as we've said before, Jade, about being unemployable when you start to work for yourself.
I mean, there's no going back now, is there really? Let's be honest.
No. No.
So definitely a colourful background there of employment and different things that you've kind of been involved with. Out of all of those things that you've done, which one did you enjoy the most?
Network marketing.
Why?
Although I don't do it now, but it massively transformed me as a person, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. Not only did it enable me to believe and see that there was a way out of working, like I say, than the Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm very much a freedom kind of girl. Don't like being told what to do. And I think time is precious, and experiences and memories. So that for me was it was so much fun, and I loved helping other people achieve their goals as well, because that's kind of what it's about. You don't get anywhere without helping others achieve their goals. That was a real buzz. But also the personal development side, that put me on this whole trajectory of personal development and growing my mindset, and becoming, I guess, who I am today. And it's something that I continue to develop on and apply what I learn as well, rather than being a trainee or a reading junkie. I like to apply my learnings in life.
So definitely not the numbers part from the financial planning. But the early days, that's not the bit that you miss the most. But I mean, we do have to do that a lot in property development, don't we? So I guess in some ways you're still getting to scratch that itch as well.
It's definitely benefited. Yeah, absolutely. The foundations that I learned, and the exams that I had to do, I had to do mortgages and investment. So I've definitely applied some of that as well into my life, my personal life.
So when was the point then? When was the point that property became like, was there like a section in your life where it was similar to my story, where it kind of was there and you did it? It's like it bubbled away in the background, but not, it just kind of happened. And then there was a moment for me where I was like, oh, I've got to take this seriously now because I had no other options in front of me. Was there a point like that for you with property as well?
There was a point, but if I just take you right back to when we purchased our first property, I just finished my first year in uni, so I was actually 18 when we exchanged
Oh,
contracts on the
wow.
first property.
Yeah.
And we decided, why do we have a property? We want to go and travel the world for 8 months. Anyway, we rented that property out. And at the time, we'd bought that property in 2007, just before the recession hit. So we bought it at the highest rates and on a 6.09% interest rate, if I remember rightly. We rented that out, and obviously we weren't making any money, so we didn't think anything of it. And then we continued to rent it out, and then we went on to purchase another property in 2014. And it wasn't until we rented that out in 2018 that obviously the interest rates had come down at that point, and we were starting to make money from our rental, and we were like, hang on a minute, there's a way to make money. But not only that, the capital growth as well on that property, it grown considerably from when we had bought it. And so I remember really clearly to this day, actually. We were living in Hereford at the time, because Vinny, my husband, had a promotion down there, and we had the conversation of, we should really take this a bit more seriously. The money we were making from the accidental business, it was bringing in a substantial amount of money, and we were like, what can we do with this seed, if you like? So we decided we would purchase one property a year.
That's
going to be a
changed.
long strategy. Yeah, that's changed, right? That was the plan. We're like, let's invest in one property a year. And all we knew then was vanilla buy to let or a flip. And so that's what we did. Then
How did that go?
Yeah, it went well. So, I mean, we bought a property then pretty much every year, bar the one property that we're actually in now. That was we dabbled in serviced accommodation, and that was quite a substantial deposit on this one. So we were like, okay, that can be 2 years worth. Plus, then we had our first baby in the mix, so we were like, okay, let's just calm down. But we bought a BRR. We didn't realise at the time that you could refinance, take money out.
What's for anyone that doesn't know, what's BRR?
So it's buy, refurb, and then for us, then it went to rent rather than refinance. So we bought a property, got about 25k off the asking price by being really cheeky. They said no, but then 2 weeks came back, said, offer you put in, actually we'll accept that. We were like, oh, okay, sweet. It took 9 months to purchase that property, bearing in mind there was no chains, and there was probate, there was a grant of probate, and a lot of miscommunication. But yeah, 9 months it took for that one. But then we turned that around, rented it out, didn't pull our money out. We have since, but at the time we didn't know we could. So that was that. And then we went on to buy our bigger property. It was like a 4-bed detached, and we just basically dressed that because it was a brand new build, suitable for an Airbnb. So we did that, and then we went on to then buy a property to flip. And this was now all around having at the time he was 8 months old, and things kind of changed there.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing there in the kind of the mix of all that is that you were doing stuff, but not necessarily following a strategy. You just were doing kind of what came in front of you and what felt right. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. There was definitely no strategy, no.
So at what point then did you go, maybe we need to be more strategic? Because this happens to everyone, right? I can literally remember when this happened to us, when we were doing probably on a bigger scale, but a similar thing of a bit of this and a bit of that, dabbling in this and dabbling in that. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. How do we actually get some real momentum from what we're doing and some results? Well, you've got to have a crystal clear strategy that you focus on and you go for. Like, can you remember that point when you were like, okay, let's regroup here?
The point came where I started to educate myself. So I did a couple of courses. I did like a commercial to residential course. I started to see there were other ways of dealing with property. And then I'd heard about HMOs, and my husband was like, we should do a HMO. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing some bedsit property.
Some hellhole.
Yeah, I was
Rat
like that.
infested hellhole.
Yeah, I was like, that does not sit right with me. It took me a while to really grasp that, but it got to a point where it was like, there has got to be a better way to have a bigger cash flow, because cash flow is more important.
Priority, yeah.
It is our priority, yeah, over the capital growth. The capital growth has been great in the properties, but actually the cash flow is important, because the business that I mentioned, the accidental business, which is an online e-commerce business, so we sell on eBay, website, Amazon, that has had its complications, and I don't believe anything ever lasts forever. And I do, after being like going back into being in network marketing, I do believe in diversification, because nothing kind of lasts forever. And if you don't move with the changes, then you know you could lose it. So it's about adapting. And so that's where then it was like, okay, we need a way to increase the cash flow. And
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
that's where the
So what did you do? What was next? So you've made that decision. Focus is this. Then what?
So after we did our flip, which we sold last year, and that made us a nice little profit, then we were like, okay, cash flow. HMOs. I was like, maybe there is something, regarding HMOs. Maybe you're right, Vinny.
Oh, don't tell him.
Not something I often say, but yeah. And that's then when I started to do again more education. Because I felt like this was a bigger beast to then doing your standard kind of your buy-to-lets and your flips. This is like on a bigger scale now. So I did education, listened to podcasts, followed people on socials, which is where then I came across you, Jade.
So, prior to that, then, before
Yeah.
deciding to do the HMOs, were you on social media property-wise? Because I know you've got quite a big account with the dog brand that you've built up, but property-wise, were you involved in it?
No,
You're
because I've
quite
got.
early then, aren't you? Still quite early in terms of being on Instagram.
Yes, I am. I think I want to say it's probably when we were doing the flip, so maybe around the end of 2023, maybe that's when
Oh,
I
okay.
decided to set yet another Instagram account. I've got so many Instagram accounts, so I was like, oh, not another one. But yeah, I started up another one, so that could be just specific, and everything I'm seeing as well in my property Instagram account obviously is relevant. And it's stuff I
Of
want to
course.
see, and I can control that,
Yeah,
to a certain degree.
yeah. So moved into HMO.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't just move into HMO, did you, my love? You were like, I tell you what I'm going to do. Like most people like myself, we go, right, I'm going to do a HMO. I tell you what, I'll do a 3-bed or a 4-bed. And I'll learn the process. And, it's kind of low risk. I can do buy to let. Now, what did you decide to do, Natasha, instead? For your first ever HMO
Ah,
deal?
well, we thought, why not take on an 8-bed, 8-bathroom HMO? Let's go all in the deep end. Why not?
Full planning, obviously, because of where
Yeah,
you
full
are and what
planning.
you do. Yeah, you would be anywhere on an 8-bed, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Funny story, actually. I'd been trying to source properties for some time, trying to find this, however many bedroom HMO, just something to get started in the kind of like Liverpool, Manchester, Chester, or Wrexham area. And annoyingly, Vinny is, you won't mind me saying this, sat on the toilet, scrolling on Rightmove, and he goes, this one. I think we should buy this one. And that's the house we ended up putting an offer in the next day and purchasing. And I'm like, he said, I don't know why it's taking you so long. I just sat there on the toilet and there it was.
Oh my God.
There you go.
And I mean, this bad boy sailed through planning as well, didn't it? Which is important to say because that's not ever the case with HMOs. That's really rare that something would just I mean, it was, how quick did it come through planning? Jog my memory.
7 weeks, seven weeks it took, which was a big surprise to us. I mean, it was a huge surprise to everyone, I think, wasn't it? 7 weeks, and it was like there was no conditions as such. It was pretty, plain sailing. So we were like, oh wow,
Yeah, this is easy.
yeah, yeah.
When the project begins, and you're like, oh, it's easy as what I thought. And there was a bit of a Brucey bonus, wasn't there, from memory of this with this project, because you've got a building plot on the side.
Yes, there's like a significant size garden, if you like. It's a good size plot, and it had planning previously that had lapsed in 2018. We had put planning in earlier this year. We put planning in for 2 one-bedroom apartments. Granted, we did the plans slightly different to what was granted some years ago. We probably should have kept it the same, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. And yeah, that has been refused, but it's something that we are going to look into, because the reasons weren't really good enough.
It was aesthetic, wasn't it, from the front or something? So that's all
Yeah.
sortable.
All sortable, yeah. And then
yeah,
phosphate levels was an issue. It was supposed to be on hold, actually. We weren't expecting a decision to be made at all. We were told that the plan was on hold until the phosphate levels had been sorted towards the end of this year. Yeah. So that was a surprise.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll get exactly where you need to be with that project, especially with that planning history that's previously been in there. So talk to us then about this 8-bed all ensuite HMO that you did. How was the project versus how you thought it would be?
So I guess at the beginning, our thoughts were, we're not going to get that involved in this project. We're going to pay for other people, because we've always done renovations ourselves, because Vinny has a history as a builder electrician. So we've always done it ourselves. Whereas this one, it's an hour away. We have a toddler in tow with us full time. And it's a big project. So we thought, right, let's get people in. And we did. But then we were project managing it. We looked at potentially getting a project manager, but we were like, oh, we can save costs by doing it ourselves. And actually having your feet on the ground as such, and learning the process, learning the ropes, which I know is something that we talked about. And you always have said, Jade, isn't it? It's a good idea to get involved.
Yeah.
As much as you can, so you understand it. So that's what we did. We got involved. Vinny got hands-on and saved us, it might have been, he could have saved us £5,000 here or 10 grand there, by doing stuff himself. So yeah, we got more involved than we thought we were going to. It wasn't a bad thing. We quite enjoyed it, actually. But of course it didn't come without its hiccups.
So give us some insights and some hiccups that you had to deal with.
Trades.
We talk about pipes.
Pipes, drainage. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, we've had some cracking trades that have turned up, delivered, do a full day's shift, put a full day in, as they should, really. To other trades who might only turn it an hour a day. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's not. Yeah, I won't get into it too much. But we did have issues with a couple of trades with just poor quality of work, I guess. And this is the thing, isn't it? We're starting to build our own team of people. So this is kind of inevitable, isn't it? That you are going to come across some bad eggs, people that you're like, I will never ever use, them again. But we managed to get the project over the line, but it was very difficult. Plumbing side, not really. Plumbing's a big deal, right? That's something that needs to be right, isn't it? But yeah, we managed to get there in the end, but it was quite stressful at times. Just a lot of lies, to put it politely, and yeah.
Thing is, on an 8-bed, 8 ensuite, you've got a lot going on, haven't you? It's a big old space. There's a lot of technicality in there. There's a lot of decisions to be made. So there's a lot of moving parts. And as ever with trades, they're like chess pieces. And if one lets you down, it has a knock-on effect. And time is money, especially on a project of that size. So yeah, I've definitely been there. I'm sure I'll be there again in the future. And it is tough. So what would you say from doing that first big HMO project? Were you kind of like your biggest learnings from it?
Biggest learnings would be with regards, I guess, to trades. Don't think it was a bad thing, obviously, having lots of different contractors there and managing it. But perhaps maybe we could have vetted them a little more, maybe looked at previous work. Reviews, I would normally you'd say, go and have a look at the reviews, but actually the reviews sometimes they just don't tend to add up to the work that that particular company is delivering. So yeah, definitely be a lot more cautious. I mean, I definitely obtained at least 3 quotes from everybody, which initially I was like, why do I need 3 quotes? But for example, just the rip out, we had a quote at 12 grand to do the rip out, 7 grand and 2.5 grand. Now a rip out, you shouldn't. Sometimes you'd be a little bit dubious, wouldn't you? Definitely don't go with a cheap person because if they're that cheap, they're not going to do a good job. But I mean, for the rip out, it's a rip out. You can't go too wrong, she says.
Yeah.
But perhaps with things, bigger thing like the electrics, plumbers and stuff, maybe we would have vetted more, I would have said, especially with the drainage and the plumbing,
Okay.
I would
So
say.
there's probably some more self-awareness around yellow flags next time.
Yeah, I would say so. If I could do that, yeah. And also another thing that I would check on is like is measurements, like be really hot on measurements.
Oh yes, I remember this. Yeah, there's a couple of little bloopers, wasn't there, on site? That's okay though, because you know what? It happens, and there's a lot. It's a big space, a lot of things. You're asking a lot of the space,
Yeah.
So if you get the odd thing that's an inch or two out, I mean, it happens to the best of us.
I mean, some things as well. I guess you learn as you go. You don't
You
know
do.
what you don't know, do you, until you come
Absolutely.
across
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and then it's like, okay, well, we won't do that again. And I'm sure there'll be
Yeah.
plenty of other things that crop up in the future that we learn from.
Definitely. Now, you guys decided to obviously go down the branded route, down using interior design as a important part of the project. So, how was that?
That was really interesting, wasn't it? So I obviously, you were my mentor, the
Mm-hmm.
best.
Oh.
When it came to like interior design, I wouldn't say it's obviously my strong point. It's not something I've ever had to do before.
Mm.
So having someone with that fine eye, that attention to detail, that massively helped. And I had a lot of trust and a lot of faith, didn't I? There's a lot of
Trust the process.
conversations.
Trust the
That
process.
was it. And I was like, I'm trust Jade says, so this is what's happening. And Vinny, on the other hand, as we well
Yeah.
know, would be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing now? And I'm like, Jade said, and he's like, fine, go on then. You do what you need to do, kind of thing. And it got to the point, didn't it, Jade, towards the end of the project when it was all coming together and it was looking wicked. And Vinny was like, it looks quite good, and
It's quite good,
it's
this is.
this is actually really good. And then he would say, he'd like something, and we'd be like, oh no, it can't be right. Then if Vinny likes it, it can't be right. Listen, as long as he doesn't like it, we're doing the right
Yeah,
thing.
you were doing the right thing.
No,
Oh.
to be fair, no, it was, but no, I trusted the process, and it delivered, and it was both me and Vinny were just like really, yeah, overwhelmed and satisfied with the over satisfied with the work, the end result,
Yeah,
basically.
amazing. And obviously that was really personified in terms of the results from filling it, right? So you filled it really quickly and
Yeah.
you got really, really good room rates.
Yeah. Yeah, we had about 70 applications. We decided to use the estate agents. So this is,
Mm.
yeah, something I probably wouldn't do again, actually. We decided to use the estate agents. So we filled 6 of the rooms ourselves using spare rooms. And I
Mm.
used the software Coho app as well. And that for us was a really smooth process. It literally, kind of held your hand through the process. So I would definitely recommend using that. And advertising it yourself, getting to meet the tenants and placing the right people together in the house to get, that nice.
Yeah, yeah.
You want people with the same values, basically, don't you? That similar values, living under one roof together. The estate agents, I wouldn't probably go down that route again. Not only obviously do they take a nice chunk of the first month's rent, but I just feel like it's not as personable, is it? Basically.
Mm. Mm.
So, and I'm glad, we did it that way too.
So there was a conscious decision to self-manage the first one, because I know you and Vinny, one of your sort of key values is the freedom and the travel and be able to kind of get up and go with Seb whenever you want to. And that's kind of the opposite to self-management. But you've obviously decided to go down that road, and so far so good.
Yes, so far so good. Yeah, so far so good. I just hope that we continue to have good tenants, that come in. Uh, just a few questions, really. I guess it's just settling into even in questions. Otherwise, we're doing our first inspection tomorrow that they're all aware of, and yeah, I'm glad that I've met these people, and that it seems to
Yeah.
be a nice group of people living there. It's good.
The thing is, you've poured your heart, and both of you poured your heart and soul into this, finding this, creating it, your money, everything, your time, your energy, and then to kind of then give it to a third party and then not know who's in there, in a sense, is kind of almost would be falling flat. But you know, as you know, one of my kind of mantras with this is, when you're in the early stages of understanding HMOs and building a HMO business, you learn from the shop floor up. So get in there and like understand who's walking through the door. You know, what type of people are coming, what questions do people ask. That's how you actually understand the HMO business that you're building, and see it as an opportunity. And it might not be something that, and this is obviously what we discussed, you'll do forever. Things might change. You might give it to an agent, you might bring someone in house. But I think initially, when you're at grassroots, it's such a huge benefit to just being in with your customer. Like, why are we doing this? We're doing it for a customer. But if we don't understand who the customer is, and how can we then evolve and improve? Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
sounding like that all that alignment has really, really worked for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. It has. And I think obviously, it probably get to a point whereby we have so many units, shall we say, and then maybe we'll look at then employing somebody to be able to manage that side, but at least we can hand over to them our kind of criteria and
You sure?
our level of customer service that we're wanting. They're aware of that. Because that's really important to me as well, is customer service. Like in every business I've ever been in, I've always gone over it and above, because I think it's really important to have that service. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think customer service in property development it's about churn. Ultimately, that's what it trickles down to. If people don't feel seen and heard, they'll leave. And if they leave, professional lets I'm mainly referring to here. If they leave, that affects your bottom line, which affects your performance. So have good customer service, people, because that retains customers, not rocket science. No, that it sounds like that project, a couple of bumps along the way, but super successful in whole, and you're really happy with it. This episode of the Beespace Podcast is kindly sponsored by the wonderful people at Landlord Furniture Co. Specialising in a huge range of high quality bespoke furniture, Landlord Furniture Co. provides durable pieces designed to last in your rental properties. If you're searching for the perfect furniture to attract professional HMO tenants, or need more resilient pieces for your student accommodations, considering cost-effective furniture packs for a larger property, or looking for something more personalised to elevate your serviced accommodation brand, whatever your need, Landlord Furniture Co. will craft a solution for you. You can say goodbye to rubbish old flat packs and start investing in a luxurious experience for your tenants. Backed by a 3-year warranty and exceptional customer service, they really are the smart choice for any landlord or property developer out there who takes their properties, their tenants and their business seriously. So ready to transform your spaces with Landlord Furniture Co. and ensure that your investments stand out in the market? Visit Landlord Furniture Co. today at www.landlordfurnitureco.co.uk, or you can head to their showroom, which is in Oldham, or find them over on Instagram at Landlord Furniture Co. Now, let's get back to the episode. So take us on to your next project, because I know you've spoken about this one openly on Instagram. Not gone quite to plan, has it? Or isn't going quite to plan. So what is that project and what's going on?
So this project then, we bought this one at auction, modern auction, in April. A little bit excited, a little bit carried away, but managed to get it below about 30k under the reserve price. So we were quite happy with this property. It's a 3-bed terraced in Wrexham again. Couple of reception rooms, kitchen, utility, would make an ideal 4-bed, 4 ensuite HMO. Put the planning in. Because we now had a team in place and we knew what to do as you know, from doing the first one. We were quite fast and efficient with it all, and the planning went in literally like the day we completed, something like that, the planning application. And it just got left for months, basically. So it is a different ward. It got left for months. And I thought, well, you know, the 8-bed got approved in 7 weeks. So surely this is going to be something similar. Absolutely not. So then it was decided, the planning officer had left and another planning officer came in, unless I've got that mixed up with another one. But anyway, there was a planning officer had changed or whatnot. And we were told then, the architect was told that they were going to be taking it to committee. And we ticked all the boxes, you know, as you do. We were like, okay. So we went to committee at the beginning of last month and they were quite happy. It was a room of humans that decided that no, we're not going to approve that. So we are appealing it. So the application to appeal was submitted yesterday, and I believe that's going to be, at least if we're lucky, like a 6-month turnaround. Won't hold my breath. So that project now, we did everything we could as well in terms of renovation. It's got a new kitchen in it already, and the walls have been painted, and Vinny's been there actually. This has been very much, we haven't had anyone come in to do this one at all, because there's not as much juice in this one, so to speak. So that's all on hold now, because we did everything up to the point where we would then need to start putting in the en-suites and turning it into a HMO. So yeah, that is on hold until we have a decision for that one. So it just goes to show, when it comes to planning, I don't know, you just have no idea. It can be quite unpredictable. I guess you can only do what you can do, and then it's out of your hands at that point then after that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much you can, it's only so much you can do on your due diligence and your previous experience, and then it's kind of just you're left in the process then. And then what it always boils down to is how what's the word? How relentless are you? Can you stand the heat? You know, and if you can, you might get the result that you want. But if you can't, for whatever reasons, we've been there in the past where we've been on a bridge. We've got to get off the bridge. But we were lucky we had something else past prior, and we're going in for something a bit juicier, which we didn't get. You've got to get off a bridge when it's nearly £1 million, you know. So so your situation can dictate often if you can wait it out or not. But with a project like that, you know, you've bought it really lean, and ultimately, if you bought anything really lean, you can get yourself. You'll be okay. You'll be all right, and you've got a nice buy to let. Worst case.
Yeah, there's plan B, there's plan C. It's an unencumbered property, and the same as the 8-bed HMO. I'm really glad that was unencumbered, and you know, we'd used our own money, because especially obviously we had the valuation issue with the 8-bed, didn't we? Oh, and if we'd been on a bridge with that one, you know, things could have looked a little bit different there. But you do what you do. You do what you can do, don't you? You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So some definite highs and lows, you know, in the past kind of year to 18 months of property development. How's your mindset been? Because I know you're a super positive person by nature, but you know, like when the you know, what's hit the fan, how have you dealt with that?
Even when we had the valuation come back for the 8-bed lower than we predicted, so we already over egged it and it came back lower than low. Even at that point, then I still wasn't like, oh well, that's it. It's, you know, I didn't feel negatively about it. I felt kind of, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. If anything, I think with like the likes of, say, a down val, your cash flow's better. There's you know, so we didn't, sometimes it is what it is. And I think property is a bit of it's a problem and solution, not battle, but that's what it is. It's always trying to find a solution to a problem, and there's going to be more problems that you have to.
Oh yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, that's what we are, problem solvers, right?
Oh God, yeah.
And it's also having multiple plans as well. It's knowing that, you know, you have got plan B or plan C to fall back on, so you're kind of de-risking in that sense. So when you do get knockbacks like that, it's okay. there's another plan, or there's another way, or you learn from it. You
Mm,
know, again, it's like, so I appealed the down valuation I had, didn't I?
mm,
And I know I was told by so many people that it's probably pointless, but because it was based on factually incorrect information, I was like, I don't think I can let that go. But I'm glad, although it came back and they refused the appeal, they were like, no, we're happy with the down val. I'm glad I did it, because I feel like I needed to know myself. I now
mm.
know that there is nothing you can do. If you get a down val, it doesn't matter whether it's based on fact or, well, we know that opinion, they won't do anything anyway, but based on fact, they won't do anything. So I know that now. And I know that I tried my best, and I can carry that on into future projects and
Mm.
not maybe get so het up about it.
Honestly, there's so many times, and you might find this in your other business as well, where stuff happens, and I'll kind of sit with it now, and I'm like, okay, how do we deal with this one? I'm mainly referring to like the lettings arms of Beespace. Yeah, it's quite eventful at times, and it's like this is
Mm,
because humans, you never then new scenarios never stop. You know, it's there's always something that you've never dealt with just around the corner. And the more time it happens to you, the more of those bumps you have, that you get more and more resilient, and you can just deal with it and move forward and understand that it's just part of the process, which is definitely what you're doing, which is amazing. Um, Obviously you mentioned that you've got a 2-year-old, and you know it's you and Vinny's on the tools quite a bit, and you've got your own operational business. So you're doing the juggle, right, as a mum with a youngster. How was that in the midst of doing the project? Give us the reality.
as in doing the just any property, or like the more
Well,
recent
just kind
property.
of just keeping on top of your property business, you know, looking after Seb, because I know that you have him with you full time as well. Like, how's that been for you?
Yeah, I guess we are getting better at managing, shall we
Mm,
say. When obviously you first have a baby, like your whole world is just altered, isn't it? You know, it's
mm,
amazing, but also it's life altering, and it's almost like goodbye, old life.
yeah.
Let's not sugarcoat it, but and I found it really hard in the beginning, really
Mm,
hard, to the point that I was almost grieving my old life. I went through that point probably when we got our flip. He was about 8 months old, and I just thought, well, because we'd previously done one a couple of years before. Me and Vinny were very, stuck in hands on. I thought, be fine, we'll just bring him along, it'll be grand. No, no. I was lucky to get, I don't know, 20 minutes, a bit of painting, on the wall, or whatnot. So I had to understand that I'm now a mum as well, and that is my most important role, and I can't do everything. So I had to really like take a step back. And when I'm with Seb, I am mum and I am present. I don't want to be this person. Obviously, I want him to see that you do need to work smart. You need to
mm.
work smart as well. Um, but I don't want to be that mum that's like constantly working whilst I'm with my child as well. So me and Vinny very much take it in turns. So I know I've got my to-do list, and I know my days, say on Monday and Wednesday, and Vinny's out with him all day. I know I can tick off my list. Things just have to wait. I'm very much, I need to do it now, girl. And I've
Mm.
learned it will have to wait. I will do it when I can do it. Which has been hard, but I'm doing it.
Amazing. So it's like doing the juggle, but kind of you've like systemized the family so everybody can be where they need to be and have allocated time. Because it is a lot, you know, when you've got children and you grow in a really cash intensive kind of, you know, business, lots of moving parts. You just want to be everything to everyone, don't you? But it's like it's not always feasible. Do you feel like property has helped give you back some of your identity?
I do, yes. I
Mm,
feel like, so you know how you asked me what my favorite role was,
mm,
all the things I've done, and I said it was network marketing. I feel like I've had a piece of that come back. I can't even explain as I would receive from doing that business years ago. I mean,
mm.
I bounce out of bed in the morning. I was like known as like a bottle of pop, like Miss Motivator, like and I feel like I lost that when things changed with that. And to coming back into property, not coming back, but being more like, let's really do
Yeah,
this and
yeah.
make, something out of this. I feel like I've got that community again. And this is what I liked about being, part of your mentorship program, is it wasn't just the access, the amazing access that I had to you, but also the access to the community. And I'm a
Mm.
sociable person, and it's very lonely working for yourself, as you know. It
Yeah.
can be very lonely when it's just you in your house, cracking on, putting out fires, whatnot. But to be part of a community and people that understand and are on the same wavelength and are cheering you on, that means a lot.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. You mentioned about kind of community, which always links to a degree with social media.
Mm,
Because you've been really on property Instagram since 2023, which isn't a long time. It's only 2020,
mm,
2025 now, still. That's only 2 years. So, like, I guess a question is, you've come on at a point when everything's, I mean, I've been around for like a million years, right, on Instagram. So I've seen all the changes come and go and what people talk about. This is the new thing, that's the next thing, all the hype. You've come on at a certain point, so you've got a certain view, and I'm really interested to know kind of
mm.
your view of what property development is through an Instagram lens versus the reality of you doing it. Like, is there a difference? What's your views?
That's an interesting question. So I've been around on socials for a long time, because I needed to use socials for my network marketing business. So
Mm.
I know what it's like. More so Facebook than Instagram. Built quite a big business from it. But property wise, I guess I feel like maybe people don't talk maybe as much about the lows as they do the highs. And I guess I don't really know what my plan is for socials. And I don't even know, because I kind of took a step back from that after doing network marketing. I was like, oh, because it was intent, it was posting 3 times a day, going live, doing all
Oof.
sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was heavy, and I did it for years. I did it for like over 7 years, and I was
Mm.
teaching people how to use socials as well back then, Facebook. So I was like, I need a break. So then having to get back into it with property, it's not been too bad in terms of obviously having those conversations with real life people. Um, in terms of like knowing what to post and that, I don't really.
But more, I'm thinking more about what you're consuming and what you're being told versus the reality of doing a project. Is there a difference?
Oh, I guess you'll always have people that are posting, saying, oh, earn this much money from a property, and like
Mm.
passive, completely passive income, and yeah, spouting maybe this whole fake it before you make it thing, isn't it? When maybe
Mm.
that's not necessarily true, but I feel like that's been around for a long time in every industry anyway, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Where
yeah, yeah.
people are only showing you what they want you to see, and you're not actually seeing what it takes to get to that point.
Mm.
So yeah, socials for me at the minute, I feel like I am probably using it more as a community base. I don't tend to be on it too much, because I want to try and keep my blinkers on a little bit. And I feel like you can get a bit distracted, and you can feel actually a little bit like, why aren't I achieving what they're achieving?
Mm.
How comes they can do that and they've got about 5,000 kids, and they've just bought like 10 properties this year? That kind of thing. You're like, and you can't help but compare yourself. Harrison is a thief of joy.
It's it's so true though. But I'm from a time where like you've stepped in at a high point where like everyone through the lens that you look through on Instagram, not the real world,
Yeah.
everyone does banging HMOs now, banging property design, everyone's doing brand.
Yeah.
Right, and that's how it looks. I mean, I'm from a time when IKEA Malm was like the thing, and people were doing I don't even know, not yellow walls, like light grey, white, bit
Yeah.
splashy yellow. That was about as radical as we were getting. It blows my mind sometimes when I look and I think, wow, look at that. What have I done to these people? Look at now where we've come. Fortunately, it's just that Instagram lens. It's not reality because we've looked at spare room locally. Where are all the good ones? They're never there, are they? But no, it's just really interesting for me to understand from your point of view actually reality of doing projects and going through it versus what I'm being told, like, oh, everything's passive. Is property development
Mm.
passive? Is it passive? Do you think it's passive?
I don't think, no. I don't. Obviously, it will never truly be passive. Will it?
Can't
I
be,
mean,
can it?
you
It
can
literally
systemize
can't
it.
be. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but to actually get to where you need to get to, it does require work, doesn't it? To get to where you want to get to.
The thing is, newsflash, it's a business. every single property you own or you do is its own individual entity within that business that's got people, cash flow, finance, all operations, all of it. So like, I think it's sold online as like, just put your money here and sail off into the sunset. It's like, yeah, good luck with that. That's not going to happen. So what's next then, Natasha? What's next for you? What have you got up your sleeve?
Okay, so we do want to continue to build the HMO portfolio. We don't want too many HMOs, but we are looking and for the right property, potentially in England instead, so we can use PDR whilst it's still whilst you still have it. Permitted development rights, so I don't have to do the full planning for an under 6-bed HMO. And we did just as well, a couple of days ago, we had an offer accepted on a block of flats. So we're looking at going down the title splitting route as well, which has been of interest for some time. So yeah, it's a block of 2 flats, and we're going to be looking at doing like a paper-based exercise at the minute, because there are existing tenants in it, and then as they become vacant, then that's when we'll probably put our stamp on it and turn it into something a bit more beautiful.
Oh, amazing. That's good, because you've got a little bit of diversity in your portfolio there. I think that makes a lot of sense in these times. So for us to kind of wrap up the pod today, do you what's your one bit of key advice that you would give to any budding female property developer out there that might have little kids, that's got a lot going on, is very much doing the juggle, is sat there thinking, oh, this story sounds amazing, I wish I could do this? What is the one bit of advice that you would share?
I would say it's probably initially, when you're very time poor, is to get educated. And I'm not saying like carve an extra half an hour, an extra hour out of your day, because I know how impossible that can be when all your hours are used, but maybe partner it up with, if you've got, I walk the dog every morning, and that's my half an hour, 45 minutes of learning as well.
Brilliant.
So I'm, it's not taking up any more of my time. So I think that's really important, doing that daily if you can, or as much as you can. And I would also say, obviously, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of free information out there, and you probably could learn to do this all by yourself, but it would take you a long time, and you would make mistakes more than likely, and it would cost you time and money. So I do really think there's a lot of value in having a mentor, but not just any mentor, someone that resonates with you. Because I've had previous mentors as well, but obviously, Jade, you were probably my first mentor, where I felt like I was, I don't know, it was truly, you're doing what I want to be doing. You're so many steps ahead, and you're a mum, and you're down to earth, and you say it as it is.
Yeah.
And, and that is someone I need in my life. Someone that's, makes me accountable, as a sounding board. And I just think that's really, really important. And you'll save so much money and time by sourcing the right mentor for you that's doing what you want to do.
Yeah, and I've said this a million times on the pod and to you guys and speaking and stuff, but there's a lot of different groups and communities out there, property development. It's a bit of a cliche, but find your tribe. Find the type of people that you want to be with. The type of conversations, the type of things that they're saying. Like, read through the bullshit. It's important. Anyway, Natasha, it's been absolutely wonderful to chat to you today. You are such a ball of energy, of positivity, and we need more of that in the world. If somebody wants to reach out and say hi, how can they find you?
It will be probably on Instagram, and it's NV, so that's N for Natasha, V for Vincent, UK Limited. Oh no, it's NVUK. It's just NVUK Properties. That's where you'll find me, NVUK Properties.
And they need to look for the profile of you in the Bahamas on a beach.
Oh, magical.
There's loads of amazing traveling, because you guys like to travel, don't you?
Oh, we do.
Go and check that out, because that's what it's all about for you. Natasha, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on.
That's a wrap for another episode of the Beespace Podcast. I've been your host, Jade McNeil, property developer, mentor, and business coach. Don't forget to subscribe on your favourite platforms. And until next time, remember, don't believe the hype and always keep it real.